Dear students, let's move on to the third unit of paper 7, plant physiology and metabolism. And the third unit is photosynthesis, under which the session going to be discussed now is introduction to photosynthesis and photosynthetic apparatus. See, photosynthesis is an anabolic process, means to say it is a constructive process wherein the complex organic food substances are being constructed in the plant bodies, that is carbohydrate is being synthesized in the plant bodies, where photo means light, synthesis means preparation, that is putting together. So initially, the plant body utilizes the inorganic raw materials like carbon dioxide and the water in presence of the solar energy and the pigments present in the plant body synthesize food materials. See, photosynthesis is nothing but a transformation of solar energy or else the radiant energy or the light energy into a chemical form of energy. According to the scientist Van Neal and Robert Hill, the oxygen, which is this is the oxygen which is liberated as a byproduct during photosynthesis, is contributed from water but not carbon dioxide. See, both carbon dioxide and water being raw materials, they possess oxygen. And the oxygen which is liberated here has come from water but not from carbon dioxide. Hence, looking at this equation, we can define photosynthesis as a constructive process, a plant biochemical reaction, wherein it is also called as anabolic process, where a synthesis of a complex organic food substance like carbohydrate is being synthesized utilizing two simpler inorganic substances like water and carbon dioxide in presence of the solar energy in the green cells of the plant body containing chlorophyll, with the release of water and oxygen as byproducts, is referred to as the photosynthetic phenomena. See, what is the importance of photosynthesis? That is what is called the significance of photosynthesis. Plants are called as air purifiers, where they absorb the excess carbon dioxide from the atmosphere for photosynthetic reaction, and they release the oxygen which is required for the green plants. So the process of photosynthesis is unique into the green plants, which are called as the autotrophic plants, where they synthesize organic food from inorganic raw materials. Photosynthesis convert radiant energy, that is solar energy, into the utilizable form of energy called as a chemical energy. The same gets stored, that is the same chemical energy gets stored in the organic food in the form of bonds present between the atoms. Photosynthetic products provide food energy to all organisms to carry out their living activities. Substances like petroleum, coal, and natural gases are fossil fuels which have been produced by the application of heat and compression on the past plant and animal parts. All are formed by this process of photosynthesis in the deeper layers of the earth. And photosynthesis, all useful plant products like timbers, rubber, resin, drugs, oils, fibers, tannins, etc., are formed due to or derived from the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the only known method phenomena by which oxygen is liberated to the atmosphere to compensate for the oxygen which is being utilized for during in the respiration of organisms and burning of the organic fuels and fossil fuels. See, the photosynthesis decreases the concentration of atmospheric carbon dioxide. It is because carbon dioxide being one of the raw material, the plants absorb carbon dioxide. As a result, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere gets reduced, which is being added to the atmosphere by the respiratory process of the organisms and burning of the organic fuels. It is a carbon. It best explained in carbon cycle. Productivity of agricultural crops depend upon the rate of photosynthesis. So, in general, photosynthesis is a constructive anabolic process. It is the only process wherein the green plants synthesize organic food material, making use of the inorganic raw materials like carbon dioxide and water. Only green plants have got this capability of converting the inorganic chemicals into chemical form of energy, that is food energy. So this process of photosynthesis takes place in all green cells of the plant body, and the green cells are containing process green plastids called as chloroplasts. So the next topic is the structure of photosynthetic apparatus, otherwise called as structure of chloroplast. So there are certain facts about chloroplast before being know about the structure of chloroplast. So chloroplasts are self-replicating or self-duplicating cell organelles present in the cell cytoplasm in the green parts of the plant body, and they are responsible to carry out this process of photosynthesis. It is already being told. And chloroplasts are present in the cytoplasm in all green cells except in the prokaryotic organisms like bacteria, where the chloroplast is replaced by bacteriochlorophyll. Chloroplasts are found in mesophyll cells like a palisade, parenchyma of the angiosperms, gymnosperms, and pteridophytes, and also found in vegetative green cells of the lower plants like algae, bryophyte, etc. Chloroplasts are generally discoid. They vary in shape, but generally they appear in discoid-like manner or a bioconvex manner in shape. But in lower plants like algae, chloroplast may appear in spiral form or in a collarly shaped form, star-shaped, bell-shaped, and reticulate chloroplasts are also commonly seen in lower organisms like algae. The chloroplast, for the first time, the definitive description of the chloroplast was given by scientist Van Mol in the year 1837. Later, in the year 1887, Schimper named these organelles as chloroplastidins. In a decade later, in 1884, Strasbourg, for the first time, coined this term chloroplast for these organelles. Looking into the structure of this chloroplast, that is photosynthetic apparatus, all green plant tissues can photosynthesize, but the majority of the photosynthesis usually takes place in the leaves. Why? Because leaves contain chloroplasts, majority of the chloroplasts. The cells in the middle layer of the leaf tissue, which is called as a mesophyll tissue, contain chloroplasts. Chloroplasts in green plants constitute the photosynthetic apparatus and act as the site of photosynthesis. The chloroplasts are microscopic in nature, where the length of the chloroplast vary between 4 to 6 microns and the breadth varies between 1 and 2 microns. Each chloroplast is a membrane bound organelles, that is, it is bounded by two membranes, and the membranes are made up of, this is the structure of the chloroplast, and the two membranes, the outer membrane and the inner membrane, there are two membranes. These membranes are lipoproteinaceous in nature, that is, they made out of lipids and proteins. The space between the two membranes is said to be what is called as intermembranal space. Intermembranal space. And the inner membrane encloses the fluid inside, and this fluid is what is referred as a stoma. Fluid is referred to as a stoma. Here, the inner membrane Stroma contains the enzymes of photosynthesis. Stroma contains RNA, DNA, and other elements which are required for photosynthesis. And the inner membrane gives rise to number of plate-like structures which are called as grana. It is a grana. Each granum is singular, grana is plural. The same thing is enlarged here. This is one granum, this is another granum. The grana are interconnected by a membrane-like structures, these membranes. Between the two grana, this membrane is called as a fret membrane or fret channel or stroma lamellae or intergrana. Grana between the two membrane, grana is called intergrana. Each granum contains number of plate-like structures placed one above the other, and these plate-like structures are called as thylakoids. Thylakoids. See, that is the diagram. Chloroplast is filled with a hydrophilic matrix known as stroma. I told. Stroma contains number of flattened membranous sacs known as thylakoids. The membranes of thylakoids contain photosynthetic pigments. Pigments means photosynthetic unit 1 and photosynthetic unit 2, which are responsible for bringing about photosynthetic reaction. And thylakoids are piled one above the other, placed one above the other to form what is called as grana. At granum contains nearly around 20 to 30 thylakoids, and the number of thylakoids in the grana may go even up to 100 sometimes. Each thylakoid encloses a space known as osloculus. The end of the disc-shaped thylakoid is called as a margin, and the area where thylakoid membranes are pressed together is called as a partition. Stroma of the grana are stroma and the grana are connected by thylakoids of the other grana by stroma lamellae or fret membrane. It is also told. In photosynthetic prokaryotes means blue-green algae, cyanophacean members, chloroplasts are absent. In photosynthetic bacteria, chromatophore is present, and in blue-green algae, photosynthetic lamellae are present. Stroma, as I told earlier, contains DNA, RNA, and enzymes for photosynthesis, ribosomes, carbon dioxide membrane enzymes for carbon dioxide assimilation, proteins, and also contain vitamin E along with elements like potassium, magnesium, iron, manganese, phosphorus, etc. in very trace quantities. Thylakoid membranes and stroma lamellae both are composed of lipids and proteins. That is why they are said to be lipoproteinaceous membrane. So in general, the entire photosynthetic phenomena, that is synthesis of organic food for the entire universe, takes place. It is an anabolic process and takes place in the chloroplast, and chloroplasts are present in the mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells are found in leaves in general, and each chloroplast, the number of chloroplast in a cell varies. Sometimes the number go up to 50. It ranges depending upon the species, and as I explain now, the structure of chloroplast goes. So in the next ensuing video lecture, we shall know about the raw materials required for photosynthesis and the pigments which are responsible for photosynthetic phenomena. Thank you.